By the way, Tyler, and I know Aki's A-List is brought to you by Circus Sports Illinois. Download it today. It's the best place to play for all your gambling fun. And I have Caleb Williams over 35.50. I should check to see if it's gone up after the last two games. I knew Waddle was done with the trivia questions when he started scratching his ass. Did you notice that too, Kevbo? I don't know if anyone else noticed it on the YouTube.
It's really a hamstring. Got an itchy hamstring.
Look, you're doing it again.
Yeah, I know.
It's close enough to the ass, though.
Once he started scratching down there,
it's like a dog when he gets bored.
He's out. What do you got, Tyler?
All right, Kyler Gordon was one of the stars from Saturday. He had a big tackle for loss, and he showed that he is a hard hitter as well. And then he, of course, also had the sack. And I look at where the Bears are in terms of guys who are next up for getting paid. For you, if you're a general manager, is Kyler Gordon the next guy that you're giving big money to on this team?
He's in my Tevin Jenkins boat where I need to see him play multiple games and stay healthy before I'm signing him. So he could be eventually. I'm trying to think who else here because I'm not paying Tevin until he proves it to me. Same thing with Brisker and Gordon. Both of them are on that same list. Am I missing somebody else? I know, like Keenan Allen. You don't believe Keenan Allen is even going to be here no matter what, because if he plays well, he's going to cost you too much.
Yeah, I don't think there was a time when the deal was made, and I thought they were going to push hard to try to sign him to a small contract extension or short term, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I mean, there's still, I still think that there's he could trade for somebody and pay them.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for.
So, I mean, I
want another building block that gets paid like Montez Sweat at another position.
Because like next year when the cap goes up, okay, now in the offseason, we can re-sign Gordon and Brisker then. Why do we got to do it right now? I got to find out if both of these guys can actually stay on the field more frequently. So, and pass rushers to me are more important. So if there's somebody that comes available, like, I don't know who it would be, but keep some powder dry.
Another offensive lineman?
That too. Could have had Connor Williams, but wasn't something they were interested in. Don't know. Not sure.
But Brisker was great. And by the way, one more thing that I brought up during the halftime show.
You mean Gordon? Gordon was great.
Gordon was great. They can't get rid of Herbert. Cannot get rid of him. He's not. I know he's not Barry Sanders, but if they keep someone like, and I don't think it's going to be Velus Jones, someone like him instead of Khalil. Khalil Herbert's good. He's a good player. Got to keep Khalil Herbert. He was another under the radar good performer on Saturday.
To me, he's better than Velus, so I would definitely keep him over Velus. I'm not going to, die on that hill if, in fact, they decide to move away from him. If they decide to move away from him and keep Velus Jones, then I think, that's not something I would think is great, but don't know. Don't know what they're going to do. By the way, did Velus Jones really do anything on Saturday that caught anybody's attention?
He had a mistake on the downing the ball
as the gunner.
Yeah.
So now once again we're left with more information and more evidence that there's not a whole lot that he contributes.
He hurts you, in my opinion, more than he helps you. Because those are the whether it's not catching the ball last week and often, or not making a play that he's supposed to make that's an elementary play for the gunner. Those are plays you have to make the football team, and you have to be consistent at. And he is the last thing from consistent.
Will you be able to determine whether or not he's going to make the team or not based on whether or not he's playing on Thursday against the Kansas City Chiefs? If he's sitting with everybody else, then connecting the dots would mean that he's safe.
Better
if
not
he's
be sick.
playing, he's still up for grabs, right? Wouldn't that be the detective work that you would do?
Unless they don't want to play him because they don't want to waive him injured.
To your point, Silvy, the other thing too is it almost feels like whenever he steps onto the field, they're looking for ways to get him the ball. And at this point, from what you've seen from Caleb Williams, I don't need them to force feed the ball to Velus Jones in any way. If he can't be a receiver who can get open, running the regular route tree, then just let Caleb cook to whoever he wants to out on the field. Stop forcing the ball to Velus.
We saw the sneaky speed from Rome too. Like, if you know Rome, you know he's got speed, but the end around showed you again. He's fast. Rome's fast. You don't need Velus Jones to do all that sort of stuff. Got enough guys. All right, what do you got, Tyler?
All right, there was also the report that came out over the weekend about Matthew Judon and that he picked the Falcons over the Bears. It seemed like the Patriots kind of gave him the choice because they may have viewed the third-round picks being offered by both teams as relatively equal. And then Brad Biggs also reported that the Bears seemed to be out on it when it became a little bit murky if they needed to extend Judon in order for this trade to be facilitated. So I ask you guys, does this pretty much kill any notion that there will be a big move made for an edge rusher from here until the start of the season?
I say yes. I mean, in reading what Biggs wrote, Biggs is usually in tune. Biggs said they don't want to spend big money on another edge rusher. It doesn't mean they
What
won't
if Micah
pick somebody
Parsons
up.
available?
Well, I mean, I would hope they'd be in on that, but I don't know if he's going to become available.
Well, I don't know either, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, there are exceptions to that rule.
Sure. Yeah, I would hope so.
Again, it's like I go back to the Pioli, like, you're saying the Pioli's story is that they didn't want to pay him. So you would tend to believe that that's going to be their approach going in. I think so that would tell me that Reddick is probably not anywhere close to their radar. No. Not even because of the issues with the Jets, but Reddick's would have cost you hypothetically more than Judon.
And he's had no camp either.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say probably, Tyler, I agree that this kind of signals that. But again, I don't. And by the time that the trade deadline comes and goes, my hope is that they will have spent their money.
I think they will too. I think if you know anything about polls, that's what I hope. Like you said earlier, that money will be spent on someone at the trade deadline when you know what this team is more about, and what they need more, and someone could become available on a Washington type team that thought they could be in it, but now all of a sudden they're like. Teams trade more like baseball teams these days in the NFL.
Think about it as well. Let's say they do get off to a really hot start and Caleb's playing great football and the vibe's even greater than we could have anticipated. And now you want to save some of that powder in case maybe there's somebody out there that you think puts you over the edge in a certain position that gets you somewhere where you didn't necessarily think you would be.
Yes.
So I think that's likely.
Like if you get hurt in an area and you're a good team, and you need to fill that spot because now all of a sudden you're a contender.
I think if the ideal thing became available, they'd be in. But if that doesn't happen, I don't think they're going to press the issue. And I thought that Ryan Poles, based on how the whole Judon thing went down, as expected, used tremendous discipline in his decision making.
Just because there is not a new deal for Judon now doesn't mean he's not going to sign there.
No, I would not be shocked in the slightest if at some point, sooner rather than later, they announced that the Falcons have decided to sign him to a contract extension.
Yeah, and the Falcons have moved some money around too with certain contracts, and they're probably just waiting to see if there's any other additions before they finally settle
they had to
in
give
on
what was it, $7.5 or $8 million to Justin Simmons.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be shocked if that contract got done.
All right. Coming up next, the good, the bad, the dirty. Our recap from the sports weekend. How many Bears ones will there be? And maybe we venture off the radar for a couple of these. It's all coming